Episode 4. To catch up on the series, use the playlist link in the comments section. Ninmah, aka Ninhasag, Ninti, Mami, Hathor, was the eldest daughter of King Anu. Ninmah, she who took 50 female Nibirian medical practitioners to Sharapak on Earth.
And it came to pass that Anu, the king, returned unto Nibiru from the land of Eridu, and great was the rejoicing of the people, for they beheld him as a conqueror, as one who had set the course of fate. And Anu lifted his voice before the mighty ones of Nibiru, saying, The gold of earth is our deliverance, yet the toil is great, and the journey long. Shall we not establish a path through the heavens, that the burden may be lightened? Shall we not create stations among the stars, that the gold may flow as a river from Eridu to Nibiru? And the lords and sages of Nibiru murmured in agreement, for the wisdom of Anu was great, and his plan was of cunning design. And Anu spake, saying, Let there be a way station upon Lahmu, the red world of exile, where Anzu watches over the land of Alalu's tomb. Let it serve as a resting place for our chariots, a place where the gold may be gathered and sent forth with ease unto our home. And let there be a station also upon Kingu, the white orb that follows the earth, the moon that shines upon the night, that it too may serve as a harbour among the heavens. And let the outer worlds be made as resting places for our great vessels, that they may travel with strength and swiftness, bearing the treasure of salvation to our land. And the mighty ones of Nibiru hearkened unto his words, and they bowed before him, saying, Let it be so, O king, for the path of wisdom is made clear. Then did Anu call upon Enki, the wise and skilled in craft, saying, Let thy hand be set upon this work. Make ready the tools, design the means, that the gold may be brought forth in greater measure. And Enki, filled with knowledge, set his mind upon the task, and he fashioned the plans for mighty new vessels, more significant than any before. From the heavens Enlil beheld the land, and he sought a place where a mighty foundation could be laid, where the vessels of fire might descend and rise again without hindrance. And he took to his sky ship, and from above he looked upon the mountains and valleys, seeking the place where a great platform might be prepared. With beams of power he flattened the valley of the mountain, making smooth the land, so that the stone of the earth might be laid upon it. He called forth his workers, saying, Cut the stone, great and strong, that it may endure the weight of the vessels of fire. Let them be set with precision, that they may not falter beneath the mighty thrust. And the Anunnaki labored, quarrying stones of vast size, cutting them with skill, shaping them as if by the hands of the gods. The stones were laid one upon another, forming a platform unshaken, a place where the chariots of the heavens might come and go, bearing the treasure of the earth unto the stars. And when the work was done, Enlil beheld it and was pleased, saying, This shall be the gateway between the worlds, the foundation of our labours, from whence salvation shall ascend. And it came to pass that as the labour upon the earth increased, and the toil of the Anunnaki grew heavy, the call was sent forth unto Nibiru, saying, More hands are needed, more skilled ones must come, lest the burdens of this world become too great. Anu, hearing these words, gathered a new host of travellers, chosen ones who would journey unto Eridu, that they might aid in the great work. And thus it was decreed that a medical contingency be sent forth to care for those who laboured in the depths of the Anzu. The healers of Nibiru were summoned, those wise in the ways of the flesh, skilled in herbs and in the renewal of strength, that they might tend to the well-being of those who bore the burden of the mines. Among them was Ninmah, the exalted lady, daughter of Anu, half-sister to Enki and Enlil. None were as skilled as Ninmah in the preparation of medicines and in the crafting of remedies to drive away afflictions. And it came to pass that Nungal, the pilot of renown, set forth upon the chariot of the heavens, bearing a company of 50 mighty ones, among whom was Ninmah the healer and her host of wise women. Through the vast expanse they journeyed from Nibiru unto Eridu, passing through the perilous hammered bracelet, yet no harm befell them, for the path was cleared before them. And as they neared the celestial god Lahmu, the red world of exile, a faint signal was detected, a whisper in the void, a tracking beam sent forth from the desolate land. Ninmah, wise in counsel, spake unto Nungal, saying, Let us follow this sign, for it is as a voice calling from the deep. Let us see what fate has come upon this forsaken place. And they descended from the heavens, their chariot gliding over the lands of Lahmu, until at last, by the shore of a lake, they beheld a sorrowful sight. There, upon the barren ground, lay the lifeless form of Anzu, the one who had remained in exile with Alalu. Ninmah, moved by the sight, hastened unto him, kneeling by his side, her hands searching for the breath of life within him. And she called unto her healers, saying, Bring forth the pulsar, that the fire of his heart may yet be rekindled. Let not the breath of the mighty one be lost. And they brought forth a device of power, fashioned by the wise ones of Nibiru. And they placed it upon the chest of Anzu, sending forth pulses of life, as thunder rolling within his veins. They raised the emitter, filled with the sacred crystals, and they cast its radiance over his form, beams of life-giving essence flowing into his flesh. And they waited in silence as the heavens watched, for the judgment of fate was upon them. And none knew if Anzu would rise or if his soul had passed beyond recall. Then, in the stillness of that place, a great breath was drawn, and Anzu's eyes opened, filled with the light of returning life. Ninmah, with hands of grace, took forth the water of life, and poured it upon his lips, so that his strength might be renewed. And she took the food of life and placed it within his mouth, so that his body might be restored, and his limbs might move again. And slowly, as the sun rises over the horizon, life returned unto Anzu, and he arose from the dust of Lahmu, no longer bound by the silence of death. And the mighty ones marveled, for the hand of death had been stayed, and Anzu, who was lost, was given a second chance to dwell among the living. Ninmah, the mother of healing, lifted her voice, saying, Let it be known that the power of life is yet within our grasp, that even from the dust the fallen may rise again. And the mighty ones marveled, for never before had the power of resurrection been used upon another world, yet it was known among the sages of Nibiru, and now the secret was shown upon Lahmu. Then Anzu, regaining his strength, lifted his voice and spoke, saying, Lo, Alalu has perished, his days of exile ending in agony. I alone bore witness to his final breath. With my own hands I laid him to rest, sealing his tomb within a mountain cave, covering its entrance with stones great and heavy. Come, let me lead you to the place that you may behold, where once a king of Nibiru was laid low, unceremoniously buried upon this distant world. And the company followed Anzu through the barren lands of Lahmu until, at last, they stood before the place of burial, where the mountain loomed, silent and unmoving. Anzu, with solemn hands, removed the stones that sealed the entrance, revealing the resting place of Alalu. And they entered therein and beheld the remains of the once king, his bones lying in the dust, the glory of his reign long departed. Ninmah, seeing the end of Alalu, lifted her voice and spake, saying, "Let him rest in peace for eternity, for though he fell from the throne, he was once mighty among us." And with reverence they covered the cave once more with the stones of the land, sealing it for all time so that his tomb might not be disturbed. The mighty ones gathered in solemn council, and Ninmah the exalted lady spake unto them, saying, "Let us fashion a sign upon this land, that Alulu's presence may endure, and that all who come may know that here lies he who sought the salvation of NIBIRU." And with beams of power they did shape the face of Alalu upon the mountain rock, a likeness of his form, crowned with his space helmet, yet his face was left uncovered. And Ninmah lifted her hands and declared, "Let his gaze be ever fixed upon the heavens. Let him look toward NIBIRU, the land he once ruled, and toward Eridu, the world where he first laid eyes upon the gold of salvation." And so was the monument of Alalu set upon Lahmu, a king laid to rest upon a foreign world, yet his countenance forever watching the stars. Then Ninmah turned to Anzu and spake before all, saying, "As my father Anu has decreed, so shall it be. Anzu, by his loyalty and steadfastness, shall rule upon Lahmu as its commander. Let him govern the way station, where the gold of Eridu shall be gathered and sent forth in mighty vessels, that the burden of flight may be eased. For the land of Lahmu is lesser in weight, and the chariots of the heavens shall rise with ease, bearing the treasure unto NIBIRU without great toil." And 20 of the ANUNNAKI were chosen to remain upon Lahmu, to lay the foundations of the station, to prepare the ways for those who would follow. They spake among themselves, saying, "Soon shall many more come, and Lahmu shall no longer be a desolate place, but a bridge between Eridu and our home." And so the decree was sealed, that from the earth the gold would be sent unto Lahmu, and from Lahmu it would ascend unto NIBIRU, the lifeblood of their salvation. Ninmah beheld all that had been done, and she was pleased, saying, "This is the order of the heavens, and the course is set before us." And thus the great work continued, and the plan of salvation unfolded, as the fate of the worlds was forever bound by the gold of Eridu. And it came to pass that Ninmah and her company of healers, having fulfilled their charge upon Lahmu, ascended once more into the chariot of fire, setting their course for the land of Eridu. Nungal, the valiant pilot, guided the vessel with skill, and as they journeyed, he turned his gaze upon the white orb of Kingu, the moon, that circled the earth in silence. And he spake unto Ninmah, saying, "Shall not this world also serve as a place of passage? Shall it not be made a station among the heavens, that the journey of gold may be swift?" Their mighty chariot circled the moon, and they beheld its surface barren and pale, yet of great potential. And they pondered the wisdom of this place in the order of the stars. Then they continued their course, and the chariot descended from the heavens, coming unto the waters of the land, splashing down upon the waves of the great sea near Eridu. And Ninmah and her company went forth upon the land, bearing with them the seeds of life, sacred plants of healing, that the ailments of the workers might be soothed. She spake, saying, "Let these seeds be planted in the soil of Eridu, that from them may grow the fruits of healing, that all who toil may be restored in strength and vitality." And she beheld the trials of the Nibiruans upon the earth, for the land was unlike their home, and its ways were harsh upon their flesh. For the quick rising and setting of the sun brought weariness, and the swift passage of day and night made them weak, for the rhythms of Eridu were not as the long cycles of NIBIRU. Ninmah set forth to study the ailments, to discern their cause, and to prepare the cures that would restore the strength of those who labored in the mines and in the settlements. With herbs of the land and with knowledge of the ancients, she mixed potions and elixirs, bringing relief to those who suffered, and great was the gratitude of the Anunnaki. She walked among the workers, tending to their wounds, mending their weariness, and speaking words of comfort. And she was called Mother of Healing by those whom she aided. And Enlil beheld the works of Ninmah and was pleased, saying, "Blessed is the wisdom of Ninmah, for she has restored our strength and given life where there was weakness." Enki too praised her, saying, "With her knowledge, the toils of our hands may be endured, and the gold of the earth may yet save Nibiru." And so the great work continued. The mines were deepened, the settlements flourished, and the Nibiruans upon the earth were strengthened by the hands of Ninmah and her healers. Enki, now dwelling in the Anzu, beheld the works of his own hands, for the great machines of Nibiru had been made ready, and the mining of gold had begun in earnest. With his wisdom, he had fashioned tools of great power, so that the veins of the earth might yield their treasure swiftly, and the salvation of Nibiru might be secured. And the land of Eridu was filled with life, for 600 mighty ones of Nibiru had come forth to labor, to build, to toil for the sake of their homeworld. Upon Lahmu, 300 more remained, watching over the great station among the stars, ensuring that the gold of Eridu would reach the heavens. And in those days, Anu, the king, lifted his voice from Nibiru and sent forth a message unto his people, to those upon Eridu and to those upon Lahmu. And he spake, saying, "O mighty ones, hear my words. You are the heroes of Nibiru, the saviors of our world. In your hands rests the fate of our home. Let it be declared that those who dwell upon the earth shall be called ANUNNAKI. Those from heaven to earth came, for they have descended from the stars to labor upon the land. And those who keep their watch upon Lahmu shall be called Igigi, those who observe and see. For they stand as sentinels among the heavens, guiding the flow of gold unto our world. And great was the rejoicing among the Anunnaki and the Igigi, for their works were honored, and their names were spoken in glory upon Nibiru. And thus the great order was established, the work of salvation was set in motion, and the fate of Nibiru was bound forever to the gold of the earth.
End of Episode 4. Episode 5 will be out soon.